Hey guys, it's the Green Crown here, and we have a new setup this time. We have the ring light and the new camera and the new microphone, and hopefully it was worth all of the money. But yeah, today I'm going to be talking to you about the differences between first year and second year of university. I haven't really spoken that much about my experiences in first year. I was doing student blogger, so I did quite a lot of stuff with the university, but I was kind of not restricted in what I could say. Like, everything that I said was true, but I couldn't, if there was an overtly negative experience, I couldn't really 100% put that in, so now that I can talk to you on this channel about it, I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience with second year and how it was different from first year. So I have a couple of points that I want to mention first, and then I asked some people like what they think I should tell you. But the first thing I want to talk about is like the increased workload. Now, I don't think this is particularly fair. I know that a bunch of people say that first year doesn't count towards your degree and it's fine, you don't have to work loads. However, I think if it's the only time you've ever experienced this kind of thing, and you go into first year and you're like, oh, this is how this thing works, and then you get into second year and it's not how this thing works. There's a lot more work. So yeah, it does definitely feel like an increased workload, and which, yeah, I didn't think I was prepared for in first year, because I kind of had like, oh, I've sussed this out, and then you get into second year and you realise that you don't have it sussed out. So I think the best thing I can recommend for that is to sort of maybe talk to second years on your course if you're in first year, find out how much work they're doing, and then maybe just do like a week of doing that same amount of work, because there's always stuff that you can do, there's always reading you can do, there's always like extra stuff that you can do just to see if you can cope with it. And if you can't, you need to start coming up with strategies now to help you deal with it. If that means starting a lot of your work over the summer, if that means talking to your lecturers or your supervisors about it, just if the amount of work that you're doing now in first year is your absolute limit, you need to start reevaluating how you're going to deal with it next year. I'm not telling you to drop out or anything like that, I'm just telling you to think about it. But I will add that the work that you're doing will probably be more enjoyable. First year you tend to do like a little bit of everything, and you're kind of, everyone does mostly the same thing, you get very few options. Whereas in second year you start to specialise, you start to pick things that you want to do, so they are a lot more interesting. I've found that I've enjoyed the work a lot more this time, though there is a lot more of it. I am finding it more interesting and more like applicable to what I want to do and my interests, so that is definitely a plus, and it definitely makes the work easier. But like time wise and like the mental strain of constantly working, it doesn't necessarily weigh out the fact that you're interested in the thing that you do. Like, it's still work, it just might be a little bit more enjoyable work. I think a big thing in second year is that there's a much less concentration on socialisation. I think in first year there was a little bit of like the manic, like, oh god, everyone's gotta like me, I've gotta make friends, and everyone does it a little bit, but especially at the start of the year when there's the sort of, you're nice to people and you spend time with people that you might not necessarily consider friends, or you might not necessarily have picked, because you don't know anyone and you just kind of have to keep doing it until you found your people. And by second year most people already have, not everyone, most people have, so there's that, that pressure goes down a lot. And also there is that like less emphasis on being social because you've got more work, but also because like you've already got these established friends, so you don't need to be like, oh, we've got to do stuff all the time in order to maintain this friendship, because you've already got them, so you don't need to worry about it as much. There is also a lot less focus on like going out and drinking and things like that, again because people have more work to do, and things actually count now, and you don't, as I said, like, you don't need to as much because you have that like established friendship group, so you don't really need to go out and like socialise to make friends, which you can, of course you can, but there's like less of that. Like, I felt like at the start of first year there was almost like this manic feeling of like everyone was trying to constantly socialise and make friends, and there was this like massive pressure of like, you have to meet stuff all the time and meet people all the time, blah blah blah, and there's like none of that in second year. Not everyone though, I would like to preface this is just my experience, this might not be universal. to everyone. If you're in second year and you're like, I don't have any friends, or if you're in first year and you're like, it's already like that for me. This is just my experience. Okay, so now I asked some people what they think about it, so I'm kind of going to read out what they say and sort of expand on it and tell you what I think about that. Okay, so the first thing I got was, in first year you are always confused, question mark. I think, I'm not 100% sure what that means, but I think that's interesting because I think to an extent you spend a lot of, there's a really big upward learning curve in first year, and you spend a lot of time just like working out like academic style and how to reference and how to like be a student in an actual university. First term of second year, your mental health takes a nosedive. Good luck. My response to that would be that if that is the case, definitely research your university's mental health services. I'm not an expert in this, I cannot provide actual advice here. However, if you do think that's going to be an issue for you, if that happened in first term, there is a chance that it could be affected by the fact that you're moving away, it could be affected by the change in environment, it could be affected by the fact that it's darker, it's colder, which generally makes people's mental health worse. So maybe if you do think that that's going to be a problem for you, and it was a problem in first year, before you get into second year, maybe look into what the university can provide for you. Before you even get there, maybe email them and be like, hi, I'm anticipating that this might be a bit of an issue. Get the ball rolling beforehand so that when you're in the midst of it, you don't have to worry about it. Your housemates will be a pain, but it'll be fine in the end. I agree with this. Either you're like me, you stay on campus, you were put with people, and I chose 2 of the people out of 8 in this flat. The rest were just random. And I get on with pretty much everyone here, but if you've picked your friends to live with, if you are put in with random, if you just picked like a bunch of people who were looking to live in the same situation as you and you don't really know them, there will be something about them that annoys you. None of them are 100% gonna be like exactly what you want out of a roommate. They're gonna be noisy at 2 AM, they're gonna leave their dishes out, or they're gonna like not clean the kitchen or clean the bathroom or whatever. There's going to be something that bothers you, and you need to prepare yourself that that's going to exist. You might think like, oh, they're my great friends, they'd never do anything to bother me. There is going to be something, and I don't think that has anything to do with the person. I just think it has to do with living in close proximity to multiple people. And maybe you'll be incredibly lucky and that doesn't happen with anyone, but it's incredibly unlikely, and you're just going to have to accept that things that you do are going to annoy your flatmates, and the things that your flatmates do are going to annoy you, and you need to be able to be okay with that and not have it ruin your relationship. And if there's something that's genuinely bothering you, sit down and have a conversation with them about it, because if it's something that's simple like they don't do their dishes, just ask them, just be like, listen, we have to live with each other for a while and this is starting to really bother me, and I would like you to address it before it becomes a bigger issue. Like, that is a reasonable thing to do. So yeah, be prepared that there's going to be an issue, it's not going to be smooth sailing. However, there is easy ways to get around it, especially if you are living with your friends. Actually no, even better if you're living with strangers, because then you can just tell them and then who cares, right? Like, after the year you're not going to talk to them. Don't live in with your significant other that you met at uni. I would say this is pretty good advice. Do I know that many people personally? Not really. However, I have heard some horror stories about people moving in with the person that they met at like in first year, and then them breaking up in second year over the summer or whatever, and then having to be stuck with them for the rest of the year, especially if you've only got a flat where it's just you two. Not a good idea, and then you sign a contract with them and you can't get away from them, and like you're at university, you don't have to be stuck with this person. So yeah, maybe reconsider that. I don't think it's that bad if you're in a quite a big flat with quite a few other people, but either way, maybe consider not doing that. Do consider staying on campus. It's a pain to move out. 100% agree. There was this big stigma last year when I said that I was staying on campus about like, why are you staying on campus? Don't you want to live in your own house? Blah blah blah. I like being on campus. I'm excited to leave. I've already signed for a house next year. I'm excited to be in that house, but I think this was the right decision for me this year. I like being in close proximity to everything on campus. My lectures are taught in the centre of town, so when I move off campus I will be far away from my lectures and far away from the social stuff on campus. So that's going to be annoying. I liked the fact that I kind of knew what my room was going to look like. I kind of already had like a plan in my head from last year as to what it is this year, though it is a little bit different. Yeah, this worked out best for me. It also meant that I was kind of put with people. By the time, so we have to sign about Christmas, you have to work out where you're going to live for the next year, the next academic year. So I'd only been at university for a term and I didn't know anyone well enough to agree to move in with them. I just didn't, and I'm glad I didn't just pick people to move in with, because the situation that we have now is better. Definitely consider staying on campus. Even if you're in second year now and you're thinking of like moving on campus in third year, as long as your accommodation isn't an absolute dump, I would definitely look into it. If you do decide to move out, get looking early. Everywhere goes very fast. And then there's some things about like location specific stuff, but I won't read that out because you might not be at this university. Yeah, I agree with that. I think if you do decide to move out, work out who you're going to move out with quickly. Unfortunately, that's just the way that it works. And find a place as soon as possible. When we were looking to sign a place for next year, we had like 5 or 6 viewings, and on the day of the viewing we'd be getting messages saying it's been let out. It goes turnover so fast because the whole of your university is looking probably roughly in the same place with roughly the same price range, roughly the same amount of people. They're all looking for the same thing. Do it as soon as you can. You will get a nicer place, and even if you don't like the people that much, I feel like tension's going to be less if you have a nicer place. Like, the worse the place is, the more tension's going to arise, because I feel like that's just a universal thing. So yeah, if you're already pretty sure that you want to leave and you're pretty sure who you want to leave with, just go for it. Don't put it off, just look straight away. Try to maintain a sleep schedule. I agree with this. It isn't always the easiest. For me, I need a good like 9 or 10 hours sleep, whereas my university schedule means that I quite often only get like 6 or 7, just because I'm having to work pretty late or working all the day, so that my socialisation's in the evening, and then I have to get up really early the next day for a lecture, so it's not always that easy. But try and keep like a rough one, so I tend to go to bed at about between 12 and 1 most nights, sometimes a little bit earlier if I'm really tired, and then I tend to wake up between about 7 and 9 most mornings, preferably 9, but if I have lectures it'll be about 7. So that's kind of what I aim for, but I understand that you want to have a good time, you want to stay out late some nights and sleep in some days, and that's allowed, that's fine. But generally, especially during the week, try and stick to something, because it does make you feel better, even though I know that it's not always 100%. Like, yes, you say, oh, stick to a sleep schedule, but sometimes it's actually healthier just to let yourself sleep in, or sometimes it's, you know, it's healthier to go out and spend time with your friends than to be like, right, I have to go to bed now. So yeah, so keep a sleep schedule, but you don't have to be too strict about it, because you want to have fun and you also want to actually sleep sometimes. Right, I need to go pick up my washing from the laundrette, and also my foot's gone numb, so we're gonna end this here. Let me know what you think of this setup. If you have any tips you would like to give first years and you are a second or third or etc. Years, then leave them down in the comments. I will link to some of the videos I made for the university down in the description as well. Like, subscribe and all that jazz. New videos every Wednesday. If you have any requests or questions, then leave them down in the comments, and I will see you next week. Oh, I would come in like, oh, dead foot. Does this make me look pale? Yes.